Understand How to Make Your Life a Masterpiece by TRACY. Your life could be changed by the system you are going to discover. This book offers a singular synthesis of concepts, procedures, and approaches that have never before been collected in one location. But the various parts of this system are not new. They have been studied and restudied throughout the history of mankind. Millions of men and women have used these principles and techniques, and they have all found enormous success. You will feel happier, healthier, and more confident as a result of incorporating these concepts and thoughts into your daily life. You'll feel more in control, have a clearer sense of direction, and be more self-directed. You'll be more motivated, laser-focused, and capable of reaching your objectives. Your relationships with the significant individuals in your life will improve. You'll feel fantastic about yourself and have greater work success. You will discover how to access the vast unrealized potential that resides inside you. You may maximize the return on your effort by working through the activities that go along with each chapter. You will set your entire life on a high road of achievement, success, and possibly your greatest level of happiness. Life is like a combination lock, except with more numbers, to use a straightforward analogy. The lock will unlock for you if you make the appropriate number of right turns in the proper order. It's not a miracle, and it's not based on good fortune. As long as you have the right numbers, it doesn't even matter who you are. In the same way, if you look for the right mix of ideas and deeds, you can almost always find the one that will help you achieve whatever it is that you really want. The same idea applies to enjoyment, success, health, and mental tranquility. You'll achieve your goals if you act appropriately and follow the necessary procedures. You can learn how others have attained their goals before you if you can pinpoint exactly what it is that you want. Then, if you take the identical actions they have taken, you will arrive at the same conclusions. Most people miss this secret of success because it is so straightforward. If you want something badly enough and are ready to work hard and long enough to follow in the footsteps of those who have achieved comparable goals before you, you can have it. Whether you are young or old, male or female, black or white, it makes no difference. It makes no difference if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth or grew up in poverty. Nature is unbiased. She has no regard for human dignity. She doesn't have a favorite. She returns exactly what you invested, neither more nor less, and you get to choose what goes in. As Goethe once penned, nature is never joking, she is always genuine, always serious, always stern, she is always correct, and man is always to blame for mistakes and flaws. She hates the men who are unable to appreciate her, and she only gives up and shares her secrets with the right, the pure, and the sincere. People who are unsuccessful struggle with this concept because they are so used to seeking outside of themselves for the meaning of their lives. But you can find examples of people from all walks of life, young and old, black and white, educated and uneducated, achieving great things and making significant contributions to the cultures in which they live. At the same time, you see men and women with a wealth of experience and education who appear to be wasting their lives away. They are performing much below their potential for success and pleasure by working at jobs they dislike, remaining in relationships they find unappealing, and maintaining unhealthy lifestyles. You can find examples of people from all walks of life, young and old, black and white, educated and uneducated, achieving great things and making significant contributions to the cultures in which they live. At the same time, you see men and women with a wealth of experience and education who appear to be wasting their lives away. They are performing much below their potential for success and pleasure by working at jobs they dislike, remaining in relationships they find unappealing, and maintaining unhealthy lifestyles. The keys to the locks are the key to your happiness and prosperity, as well as to more of the things you truly desire. You must learn from and imitate people who have already done what you want to do and obtained the results you want to obtain, rather than spinning the dials of life in the hopes of getting lucky, as if you were playing a slot machine. This book is about just that. It gathers all of the best research on personal success into one convenient volume that is uncomplicated and ready for application. This technique provides you with the key combinations for virtually all of the locks in your life. These concepts work, and I know it for two main reasons. First, over a long period of time, I use trial and error to test and validate them. Second, I've taught this approach to over 1 million individuals, and every single person who has really incorporated these concepts into their lives has found success with it. Some people choose careers in law and others in engineering. Some people who read the sports sections end up being experts on basketball, baseball, or football. Others spend a significant amount of time learning about cuisine, history, stamps, computers, and a myriad of other topics. I researched various facets of success. I've always been curious about why certain people are more successful than others. The differences in money, happiness, and influence I observed all around me baffled me. I was driven to learn the causes of this seeming inequality because something inside of me told me there had to be. My family was impoverished, and I didn't like it, because of the irregular nature of my father's employment. We never appeared to have enough money for anything other than the necessities. Most of my clothing for the first 10 years came from the Goodwill and St. Vincent de Paul organization. When I was a child, I had behavioral issues. I was constantly in problems of some sort, irate, and retaliating against life without understanding why. I was expelled from 2 high schools and placed on suspension numerous times. From the 7th to the 12th grades, I had more detentions than any other student at whatever school I attended. I dropped 6 out of 7 courses in my final year of high school, and I failed. Dishwashing in the kitchen of a modest hotel was my first real job. After that, I worked a variety of menial jobs while residing in boarding homes, modest hotels, or one-room flats. On occasion, I would even sleep in my car or the ground next to it. I have experienced stacking lumber in sawmills and using a chainsaw to cut brush on logging crews. I drilled wells for a while. I was an assembly line worker in a factory and a construction worker. I started traveling the world when I was 21 after getting a job as a galley boy on a Norwegian freighter. I traveled for a few years till I ran out of money. Then I worked to save up enough money to go once more. When I was 23, I was still working as a daytime itinerant farm labor and spending the evenings in the farmer's barn sleeping on the hay. When I was unable to find a laborious job, I entered sales and worked strictly on commission. One day at a time, I was getting paid every night so I could eat and pay for my rooming home. I kept looking for the answer to the question, why are some people more successful than others? During these early encounters, which taught me a lot about life, I read a lot of books. I had a burning desire to learn and comprehend. I read all I could discover that would give context and structure to the events I was observing. For me, it resembled a journey, similar to Don Quixote tilting at windmills, but with a significant distinction. I have a very practical side. I was searching for concise explanations of concrete actions I could do right away to improve my outcomes. Grand theory and abstract principles were not my thing. I only ever questioned whether a fresh concept actually worked. When I first started selling, I struggled for a while before starting to wonder why certain salesmen are more successful than others. I devoted my full attention to the issue, reading every sales-related article I could find, listening to every accessible audio tape, and attending every training course that was offered. I questioned top salespeople about their selling strategies and how they handled the ongoing issues that salespeople encounter. I experimented with anything that made sense and got better as I went along. Bit by bit, my sales started to rise. 6 months later, I was the best salesman in my business. I immediately began instructing others. What had been successful for me, several of which went on to become top also salespeople. When I first entered management, I read all I could discover to improve my ability to get results. Others, I applied what I had learned to create a sales team. 95 individuals working in 6 nations and earning millions of dollars in new clients every month. I went back to the books when I made the decision to enter the real estate development industry. I obtained a real estate license and devoured all the information I could discover. I never developed anything before, so for my first endeavor I optioned, funded, leased out, built, and sold a $3 million shopping center. And I discovered what I needed to know through research and inquiries I posed to other accomplished developers. I was in charge of purchasing, annexing, designing, developing, constructing, leasing, and selling commercial, industrial, and residential property worth millions of dollars over the course of the following 5 years. I moved from a little one-bedroom apartment furnished with rental furniture to my own condominium. Then to a house, then to an even larger house with a pool and a 3-car garage. I studied business, management, and sales so I could figure out how to live comfortably. I attended night classes and took correspondence courses to finish high school. I was accepted into an executive MBA program based on my life experiences and a strong scholastic aptitude test score, and I spent 3 years studying business theory with a focus on strategic planning and marketing. I then worked as a management consultant and helped my customers make or save millions of dollars by applying my expertise and experience. I had always been interested in the topic of happiness and the reasons why some people seem to have more fulfillment and happiness than others. I researched psychology, philosophy, religion, metaphysics, motivation, and personal accomplishment in an effort to discover the solution. I researched relationships, interpersonal psychology, communications, and personality types to help me with my personality issues. I read and listened to everything I could discover about parenting and raising kids when I got married. I read books that helped me better understand myself and the reasons I felt and behaved the way I did in order to make my interpersonal relationships better, to better comprehend the past and present and to discover why some nations and regions of nations are wealthier than others. I studied history, economics, and politics. I would estimate that I studied for more than 20,000 hours total during a 25-year span. Many of these investigations were conducted in parallel. Some people engaged in rigorous activities for 2 to 3 years, almost obsessively. However, these studies all shared the same objective, a practical understanding. They were an ongoing quest for tried and true concepts, perceptions, and techniques that might be used to get better outcomes right away. I also made a significant finding. I discovered that I could learn anything I needed to know to succeed at anything I was genuinely interested in. Everything was made possible through knowledge. It took me 20 years to get out of poverty and stop always thinking about money. I came to the conclusion that if I combined all I had learned about success into a framework of principles that anybody could use, I could provide people access to tools that would enable them to avoid spending thousands of dollars and years of laborious labor. I created a success system in 1981 to be used by others. I created it as a 2-day conference called The Inner Game of Success and advertised it in newspapers and by direct mail. I was enthused by the seminar's concepts. I was so eager to tell people about them. I was confident that anyone who would implement even a little portion of these concepts may see quick, positive improvements in their lives since I knew they were. Every worthwhile endeavor requires time. It took the seminar 3 years to get traction. I spent every penny I had during that time perfecting the course's material and delivery. As I worked out the flaws, the seminar's popularity started to increase gradually. There were more attendees that came from a greater distance. People have used phrases like "this is like getting a brand new chance at life" and "you knew seminar is like a blank check on the future" to describe the event since the beginning. The workshop was subsequently renamed the Phoenix Seminar after the mythical representation of rebirth and transformation. The lecture was issued on audiotape as the 6th Jaloev in 1984 by Nightingale Connect Corporation, the leading global distributor of audio and video learning products. It soon rose to the top of the bestseller list and has since sold about 500,000 copies. By 1985, the seminar was in greater demand than I could personally deliver it. I taught individuals to present it properly and filmed it on videotape with a workbook. The Phoenix Seminar on the Psychology of Achievement is what we called it. The popularity of the video version led to its translation into 12 different languages and distribution in 24 different nations. This seminar serves as a foundational training for both individual and organizational transformation. Men and women who complete the program come out of it feeling better and more hopeful about their lives in general, as well as about themselves, their families, and their jobs. They feel more competent, confident, and able to more effectively command and govern their lives. The Phoenix Seminar on the Psychology of Achievement is used by businesses to increase production, performance, and productivity. They discover that when they create total quality people, those individuals then create the business. Therefore, they use it as a foundation course for both collaboration and total quality management programs. This book is my response to the many graduates who have asked me to write down these ideas. The system taught at the Phoenix Seminar on the Psychology of Achievement is the same system you'll learn about in the pages that follow. It is a thorough and all-encompassing method for going about living our lives, of leading a life marked by contentment, harmony, good health, and genuine prosperity. One final thing before we get started. Over the years, thousands of my graduates have returned to me and exclaimed, "You won't believe what's happened to me," sometimes just a few hours after learning this approach. They then continued to tell me about the fantastic developments in their professional and personal lives that have resulted from putting these concepts into practice. I just want you to know that whatever it is, I will believe it. I am confident that once you start putting these ideas into practice, you will achieve results you may not have previously believed possible. Additionally, the more you apply these concepts, the more effectively they will work for you. Only your imagination will now be a limit to your future. Make your life a work of art. The age of achievement is now. Never in history have more people achieved more in more diverse fields than they are doing now. More people than ever before are experiencing achievement at a faster rate. There have never been more chances than there are now for you to make your goals come true. Leading futurists and well-known businessmen believe that humanity is about to enter a golden age. Wherever they are seriously applied, the Western values of democracy, individual liberty, and free enterprise are sweeping the globe and bringing prosperity, growth, and freedom. There has likely never been a better time than right now for you to attain greater success, freedom, happiness, and financial independence. This book will teach you how to live a better life, accomplish your objectives, and reach your true potential for happiness and success. No matter who you are or what your circumstances are, you have it inside you right now to achieve more than you ever have. You have the capacity to surpass all of your prior achievements. More than you may have ever dreamed is possible for you to be, have, and do. Simply learn how, then put what you've learned into practice. Everything in this book has been put to the test and proven true in the actual world. My personal experiences have made me a type of test subject for these concepts. I doubt I could have done much better than I did if I had created my early years as the perfect test case. I got off to such a slow start that no one could have faulted me for not succeeding. Personal story. In 1944, I was born in Canada. Despite the virtues and diligence of my parents, we never appeared to have enough money. As I was growing up, I can still hear my parents repeating, "We can't afford it, we can't afford it, we can't afford it." Whatever it was, we simply couldn't afford it. They had gone through the Great Depression, and the constant anxiety about money had left them never totally recovered. I first noticed that many other families seemed to be doing much better than we were when I was in my adolescent years. Better homes, newer clothing, and cars were available to them. They didn't seem to worry about money nearly as much as we did, and they appeared to be able to purchase many things that our family could only dream of. At this point, I started pondering the issue: why are some people more successful than others? I started to wonder why some individuals appeared to have more money, happier relationships and families, nicer homes, and in general much more joy and satisfaction out of life than others had. As it turned out, because I spent so much time alone, I had plenty of time to consider this subject. I fit the description of a loser. I was being silly in class. I was hanging out with some terrible kids. As a result of my constant mouthing off in an effort to garner attention, I finally lost a lot of friends. Everyone is good for something, it is claimed, even if it is only to set a bad example. That's who I am. I was the child who instructors and parents used as an example. They warned him, if you don't straighten up, you'll wind up like Tracy. I had my first epiphany at the age of 16, which caused me to change the direction of my life. One day it struck me that I had to change if I ever wanted things to change for the better. It was up to me to take action if I didn't like always being miserable, unpopular, and in trouble. My lifetime quest to discover why some people are more successful than others officially began with this. I finally managed to accumulate some money after dropping out of high school and working as a laborer for a few years before leaving home to travel. Since then, I've visited or worked in more than 80 nations across 6 continents. I have experienced things and been in circumstances that most people could not even fathom. I've experienced extreme poverty many times, going without food and sleeping on the ground in far-off places. In addition, I have enjoyed superb dining in world-famous restaurants and accommodations in stunning hotels. I eventually rose to the position of senior executive of a $265 million development firm. I've spoken with 3 prime ministers and 4 presidents. Even my wife and I had dinner with them. Less than 6 months after setting it as a goal, the President of the United States achieved it. One of the most significant truths I've learned over the years, primarily in hindsight, is that you can't hit a target you can't see. If you don't know what they are, you can't use your life to do great things. If you're serious about discovering the tremendous power that resides within you, you must first get crystal clear about what it is that you want. Every achievement I've ever had occurred after I spent time considering how my goal would appear when it was achieved. Since then, I've met and talked with numerous successful men and women, and they all shared that one characteristic. They were completely aware of their goals. Everyone had a distinct vision of the lives and successes they envisioned for themselves. This image of the kind of future they desired for themselves served as a potent inspiration for continuing. Their accomplishment of their objectives appeared to result from the process of setting them in the first place. Setting goals is a crucial component of this approach, and I'll go into more depth about it in Chapter 5. However, you must first take a step that very few people ever take. You must decide precisely what success means to you in order for this system to operate. And this decision must be made immediately. You must choose what. Here's how to get started. Put zero-based thinking to use. Think about going back in time to the start in every circumstance, and begin over, as if supporting a picture frame, but in a different way. Portions of your relationships and life through it. Ponder the following. If today I had to make a decision, given what I now know, what if I did? Do not budge on your responses. Be completely truthful. Along with you, set your standards for each circumstance. You're free now, allowing oneself to become mired in all of the reasons one. It's not possible with you. Every great feat begins with your understanding of what it is you truly desire. You should devote yourself fully to achieving it. The following 7 ingredients for success. Anything you may ever want more of or any aspect of your happiness that you would deem vital can be categorized into one of 7 groups. Everything ever written or learned about success and happiness is consistent with these 7 ingredients of success. All high-achieving men and women share these traits with their lives and accomplishments. They provide everything you may possibly need. These 7 elements come together to form your ideal existence in precisely the way that makes you the happiest at any given time. You set a high bar for yourself by defining your success and pleasure in terms of one or more of these 7 components. Then, you'll be able to gauge how well you're doing. Recognize the areas in which you need to make adjustments if you want to better your life. You must begin with your idealized perception of the future. By raising your eyes and viewing your life as if it were already flawless in every way, you can start to access your inner powers. The first thing you should do is draw out a blueprint that will show you exactly where you are heading and what it will look like when you get there. Then, using this image as a guide, a benchmark, and an organizing principle, you can evaluate and compare everything you do as you work to make this vision a reality. A sense of peace. Peace of mind is the first of these 7 essential qualities for success and is unquestionably the most crucial. It is the utmost good for people. Nothing else has any worth without it. As a result, you work toward it your entire life. Typically, you use your level of inner peace to gauge how well you are doing at any given moment. Your inner gyroscope is your state of tranquility. When your life is completely balanced and you are acting in accordance with your deepest convictions and principles, you are at peace. Your mental health will suffer first if you compromise your morals or disobey your inner direction for any reason. Harmony, or peace of mind, is necessary for the best performance of all human groupings, from your friendships and family ties to the companies and organizations where you operate. Harmonious connections are the foundation of all human interactions. Every person's need to ensure their own peace of mind by not upsetting the tranquility of others drives all manners, morals, etiquette, and diplomacy. The degree of harmony among coworkers can be used as a proxy for mental calmness in businesses. People who feel good about themselves work for productive, lucrative companies. They like and feel secure in their jobs. They may appear to be frenetic or overly busy, but they are actually at ease. The nice thing about having peace of mind is that it is a condition that you naturally have. It is your birthright to be happy. It's yours to keep. It is not something you sporadically encounter if you're fortunate. Your existence is centered on having peace of mind. It is a necessary prerequisite to delighting in anything else. You should make finding inner serenity the main organizing principle of your life. It must become your overall objective, to which all of your other objectives will be subordinate. Actually, your ability to acquire your own happiness, contentment, sense of personal well-being, or just your own peace of mind, determines how successful you are as a person. At one point, I experienced a lot of perplexity and anxiety around the thought of deliberately attempting to attain my own pleasure. My religious upbringing had instilled in me the belief that my happiness was not a legitimate factor in my decisions and actions. I was more often than not told that happiness was only a byproduct of living my life to make other people happy. The only happiness I experienced was luck, they told me. If that was my lot in life, then I failed. The entire notion of making my own happiness a priority was criticized as being unkind and self-serving. I experienced a significant turning point when I discovered 2 things. I first realized that no one else would make a commitment to pursuing their own happiness if I didn't. If all I wanted in life was to make other people happy, I would constantly be subject to their emotions, no matter who they may be. And I discovered that trying to arrange my life so that I could make other people happy was an exercise in frustration and disappointment that would never end because it was simply not feasible. Second, I realized I couldn't give away what I lacked. I couldn't be unhappy in order to make someone else happy. You can't help the poor by becoming one of them, as Abraham Lincoln famously stated. I discovered that until I could first make myself happy, I couldn't make others happy. Everything else you do depends so heavily on your level of mental stability that it needs to be thoroughly examined. What source does it have? What circumstances make it possible for you? The best way to obtain more of it. Simply said, happiness and peace of mind come to you whenever you are totally free from the negative emotions of fear, wrath, doubt, guilt, resentment, and concern. You can easily and simply experience peace of mind when unpleasant emotions are absent. The secret to happiness, then, is to carefully get rid of, or at the very least, minimize, the aspects of your life that are stressful or negative in any way. When I first heard of this concept many years ago, it really floored me. Imagine achieving your own peace of mind by methodically removing the unfavorable people, circumstances, and feelings that make you sad is the key to leading a happy, successful life. Wow, could finding happiness be that easy? The problem is right there. Your attachment to the unfavorable individuals and circumstances that contribute to your negativity is the main barrier to overcoming it and restoring your happiness. Your logical mind comes up with all kinds of ingenious justifications for why you must stay in your current circumstance. Your incredible brain works tirelessly to keep you trapped in your issues rather than working for you and offering you solutions. I'll demonstrate a number of techniques to help you manage and finally get rid of your negative emotions later on in this book. I'll demonstrate to you effective methods for dispelling rage and anxiety in moments. I'll demonstrate to you how to fully master your emotions and tips on how to keep them mostly good. But for the time being, your task is to partake in what is known as thinking on a mountaintop. Consider the future and envisage your ideal existence. What substances would have to be combined to exist for you to be completely content? Don't stress over the future, whether it is currently feasible for you or not. Clear your mind from all restraints and absolute selfishness. Simply define your life as it would have been. Which action would you take? What city would you reside in? Who would accompany you there? How would you spend a day at home? And every day. Never forget that you can't hit something you can't see. But if you can vividly picture it in your mind, there's a very good chance you can make it happen. If you run a business, sketch out your idealized future. What a job or piece of work would look like if it was flawless in every respect. What would you increase in order to attain more degrees of cooperation and harmony at your workplace? What would your life be like in your family if you and the people you cared about were in an unbroken state of tranquility? You won't likely make another mistake if you make having peace of mind your ultimate aim and plan everything you do based on whether it will help you achieve that goal or get in the way. You'll act morally and speak truthfully. You'll discover that you are guided by greater ideals. You'll have positive self-esteem. The key is mental tranquility, energy, and health. Health and vitality are the second component of success. Your natural and default physical condition is one of health and vigor, just as your natural and default mental state is one of tranquility. Your body is predisposed to favor health. In the absence of mental or physical interference, it produces energy readily and in great plenty. Furthermore, radiant health is the absence of all discomfort, ailment, or disease. It's amazing how well your body is designed to mend and become healthy and active on its own if you simply stop doing certain things to it. If you succeed in the worldly world but lose your health or sense of well-being, otherwise you get no satisfaction from your other achievements. Imagine being in excellent health. Imagine yourself as your ideal self in terms of physical fitness. What would you look like? What would you think? What would your weight be? What kind of meals would you eat and what activities would you perform? What activities would you be increasing and decreasing? After reflecting on this ideal vision, a businessman in one of my seminars approached me and said that if he had perfect health, he would be able to complete a marathon. He was 40 years old, 20 pounds overweight, and not in great shape, which was his concern. Though he didn't think he could do it, the cognitive process had already started. He became more and more enthusiastic about the prospect of training for a marathon as he began to think of himself more as he could be than as he was. He started to think of himself as fit and slender. His confidence in his ability to succeed grew. He invested in a few books on running and began to exercise every day. He purchased the appropriate attire and footwear for running. Each week, he upped his distance, and soon he was participating in fun runs and mini marathons. He completed a 26.4-mile first marathon in less than a year. He realized his dream and developed into the person he had envisioned for himself. Most importantly, he felt more energized, fit, lighter, stronger, and healthier than before. Lovely connection. Having a love connection is the third component of success. These are connections with those who care about you and who care about the people you love. They are the true barometer of your progress as a person. Your relationships with other people determine the majority of your happiness and unhappiness in life, and it is these connections that truly define who you are as a person. Being able to form and sustain long-lasting friendships and personal interactions with others is a crucial trait of a properly functioning person. The way you get along with others and how they get along with you speaks volumes about your personality. You can nearly always use one easy test, laughter, to determine how well your relationships are doing. The best indicator of how things are going is how much two people or a family laughs together. People laugh a lot while they are with each other when they are in a pleasant relationship. The first thing to disappear in a relationship that goes south is the laughter. The same is true for businesses. People who laugh and joke around together work in organizations that function well and are profitable. They appreciate each other and what they do. As a team, they work well and enjoy one another. They exhibit greater optimism, openness to new ideas, creativity, and adaptability. I formerly believed that people were an integral component of any business. That's when I realized that people are the business, a great fact. The fixtures and furniture are replaceable. Customers, services, and goods will alter with time. However, if you have the appropriate employees, the business will keep growing. The executive's primary duty is to promote harmony and happiness among the people under his or her care, as well as an atmosphere of optimism, excitement, and high morale. All organizations of the highest caliber can be identified by their esprit de corps. What kind of partnership do you want? What would it look like and with whom would it be? What would you want more of or less of in your critical relationships if you could plan them down to the last detail? What could you start doing right now to make these circumstances a reality in your own life? Without a clear understanding of what you truly desire in a partner, you will undoubtedly find yourself in circumstances that you did not choose. Life's challenges are virtually always people problems. They have hair on their heads and talk back. More than any other issue, people problems can disturb your mental stability and harm your health. Therefore, creating a human environment in which you can be joyful, pleased, and fulfilled must be one of your main goals in life. Having to one by one evaluate your relationships and create a strategy to make each one satisfying and joyful. You can only turn your thoughts toward the self-expression and self-actualization that allow you to realize your genuine potential when your relationships are in order and running well. Financial success. The freedom from debt is the fourth component of success. Financial freedom is the state of having enough money to avoid the constant worry that plagues the majority of people. The absence of money Not the presence of money is the source of all evil. One of your life's most essential objectives and obligations is to achieve financial independence. It is much too crucial to leave to chance. Fully 80% of the population are preoccupied with money problems. They think about and worry about money when they wake up in the morning, while they're having breakfast, and throughout the day. They talk and think about it during the evening. This is not a happy, healthy way to live. This is not conducive to being the best you can be. Money is important. While I put it as number 4 on the list ingredients of success, it is an essential factor in the achievement of the first 3. Most worry, stress, anxiety, and lost peace of mind are caused by money worries. Many health problems are caused by stress and worry about money. Many problems in relationships are caused by money worries. And one of the main causes for divorce is arguments over money. You therefore owe it to yourself to develop your talents and abilities to the point where you know that you can earn enough money so that you don't have to worry about it. A feeling of freedom is essential to the achievement of any other important goal, and you cannot be free until and unless you have enough money so that you are no longer preoccupied with it. One of your main aims in life must be to provide for your own financial independence, without self-delusion, procrastination, or trusting to luck. Imagine having a magic wand that you could use to create your financial life any way you pleased. How would your life change if you met all of your financial objectives? What difference would it make to how you go about your daily business? What would you be concentrating on more or less? What kind of income would you like to have in a year, 5 years, or 10 years? What kind of lifestyle are you hoping to lead? How much money in the bank would you like to have? These are pretty significant inquiries. The majority of people never do so in their entire life. You can figure out what you need to know and do to get there, though, provided you can be absolutely clear about where you want to go financially. Many participants in my seminars have gone on to transform their life from one of poverty to one of wealth. They are now in charge of major corporations. Millionaires have been made by some. They have established successful businesses on their own or have advanced quickly within their organizations or sectors, but only after deciding what they desire. These are pretty significant inquiries. The majority of people never do so in their entire life. You can figure out what you need to know and do to get there, though, provided you can be absolutely clear about where you want to go financially. Many participants in my seminars have gone on to transform their life from one of poverty to one of wealth. They are now in charge of major corporations. Millionaires have been made by some. They have established successful businesses on their own, or have advanced quickly within their organizations or sectors, but only after deciding what they desire. You may utilize this technique to accomplish your goals more quickly than you might have thought possible once you establish exactly how you want your financial situation to appear. You must first clearly define your financial destiny before developing a strategy to achieve it. That's where everything will start, as you'll discover later in this book. Worthy objectives and ideas. The 5th component of success is having noble objectives and values. According to Dr. Viktor E. Frankl, author of Man's Search for Meaning, your desire for purpose and meaning in life may be your most fundamental psychological motivation. A strong feeling of purpose is necessary for genuine happiness. You must dedicate yourself to something greater and more significant than yourself. You need to believe that your life has meaning and that you are in some way positively impacting the world. The increasing achievement of a worthy ideal is the definition of happiness. Only when you are making progress towards something that is truly essential to you can you be happy. Consider the types of endeavors and successes that you most like. What did you accomplish in the past before you become the happiest? What kinds of pursuits give you the deepest feeling of purpose and meaning in life? Self-awareness and self-knowledge. The ability to know and understand oneself is the 6th component of success. Self-awareness has always been associated with inner contentment and success on the outside. Know yourself is a proverb that dates back to classical Greece. Knowing who you are and the reasons behind your thoughts and feelings will help you perform at your best. You must comprehend the factors and circumstances that have created your personality since early childhood. You must understand the rationale behind your responses and reactions to others around you. Only when you are aware of and at peace with yourself you can start advancing in your other aspects of life. Personal completion. Personal fulfillment is the 7th component of success. You have the impression that you are evolving into your full potential at this point. It is the reassurance that you are making progress toward reaching your full potential as a person. This is what Abraham Maslow, a psychologist, coined self-actualization. The majority of the healthiest, happiest, and most successful men and women in contemporary society, according to him, have this trait. This book's ability to teach you how to be your own psychologist is one of its main advantages. You will discover how to cultivate and sustain an upbeat, happy, and positive outlook in all situations. You'll discover how to create a completely developed, fully operational, and fully mature personality. You have a set of goals to work toward once you have identified the 7 factors for success. Your ability to succeed is unlocked when you have the confidence to identify exactly what you want and define your perfect life in those terms. You will discover a tested way of thinking and acting in the upcoming chapters that you can utilize to accomplish any objectives you set for yourself. Knowing where, however, the first and most crucial stage is deciding where you want to end up. The 7 laws of mental mastery and how to apply them to create any kind of life you can dream are covered in Chapter 2. You discover your master program and how it manages every element of your thoughts and feelings about yourself in Chapter 3. You discover how to rewire it so that it supports your true aspirations for your life. Chapter 4 teaches you about your mastermind and how to use your mental abilities to their fullest potential. You study the strategies and tactics used by the most prosperous people of our time to accomplish their objectives. You discover the most effective method for setting and attaining goals that has ever been collected in one place. You will be able to accomplish more with this master skill in the following 1 to 2 years than many individuals do in a lifetime. You learn about the master power, also known as the superconscious mind, in Chapter 6. With the right approach, you can achieve virtually any objective you set for yourself. You will learn to use it as naturally as breathing in and out. The discovery and application of the superconscious faculty underlies every great success in the human experience. You discover the M-Arter decision in Chapter 7 in order to unleash your higher powers for both personal and professional success. You come to understand what distinguishes successful performers from low achievers. You gain knowledge on how to fully control every element of your life and how to transform it into something genuinely great. The Master Goa J, inner peace, and how to arrange every element of your life to ensure the maximum enjoyment for yourself and those around you are discussed in Chapter 8. You discover how to get rid of stress and negativity from your life by understanding their underlying causes. You acquire the skills to approach whatever you do with more optimism and positivity. In Chapter 9, you start to put all of what you've learned in the earlier chapters into focus on improving your relationships with the people in your life. You may master the fundamentals of interpersonal psychology and how to get along with people better in practically any setting by reading Mastering HUMMI Relationships. You learn how to have happy romantic relationships in Chapter 10, Mastering Personal Relationships. You discover the reasons relationships work and why they don't. You discover a number of straightforward actions you may take, or refrain from taking, to instantly and sometimes even more quickly improve your relationships. You may discover how to be a great parent in Chapter 11, Mastering the Art of Parenting. You may learn how to engage with your kids at any age so they develop into happy, healthy, and self-assured adults. You gain knowledge on how to repair past wrongdoings and create enduring love relationships. Last but not least, in Chapter 12, in Mastery, the Power of Me, you discover the secret of the ages, the most potent force in the universe, the one thing that truly counts, and the force that molds character and destiny. You learn the secret to realizing your potential and becoming totally human. You gain knowledge on how to apply the concepts of love to all you do and are. When you start putting into practice the ideas in this book, you'll experience more mental peace, improved health and energy, more and increased financial freedom, more fulfilling goals, and stronger, loving relationships, greater self-knowledge and self-awareness, as well as a fantastic sense of personal fulfillment and achievement, and values to which you can commit yourself. The concepts, perceptions, and helpful advice in the pages that follow will bring you better health, happiness, and fortune than anything you have ever known. As you use these guidelines you will see changes in yourself, your circumstance, and your life. The folks in your immediate vicinity will seem great. All of your life will widen and enlarge in the direction of your potential as you take the road of maximum excellence. Exercise and application. This system is quite useful. You can complete the exercises in each chapter. They are designed to provide you the skills you need to fully take charge of your life, but you must use these skills in practice for them to be effective. To fully benefit from the exercise's cumulative effect, you must have the self-control to perform them in the correct order. This chapter has detailed your first exercise in detail. It is up to you to pick up the paintbrush of your creativity and start creating a masterpiece on the blank canvas that is your life. You must clearly determine what would make you the happiest in all of your endeavors. Prior to deciding what is feasible, decide what is right for you. Make every aspect of your perfect existence a reality. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just focus on getting there. Just concentrate on forming an image of your ideal future for the time being. You will discover how to turn your visions become realities in the upcoming chapters. Please subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.